For months, MAGA Republicans have insisted that Project 2025 will have no place in a second Trump administration. And for days, many Trump supporters have insisted that he won't go through with his mass deportation plans because that would just be crazy. Well, Donald Trump has, with a single stroke, proven both of these groups of people wrong because he is appointing a major Project 2025 contributor to the position of border czar. And this person has not only advocated for family separation, he says that the only way around it would be to deport both undocumented migrants and their American citizen children together. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, Donald Trump won the election. It was a free and fair election. It did not go the way we wanted, and it may be going the way that many Trump supporters don't want either. It's too soon to tell, and their principles are very often flexible when it comes to Donald Trump. But to those who say Project 2025 will have no presence in the Trump administration, Donald Trump, by the way, desperately and dishonestly made the same claim during the campaign because he knew Project 2025 was very unpopular. So, no, I don't know anything about Project 2025. I have no association with it. It will have no presence in my administration. That's not true. Because Donald Trump has just announced that Tom Homan, who is a major contributor to the Project 2025 900 plus page tome, the guidebook, is actually going to be given a sweeping mandate in the Trump administration. He says, I am pleased to announce that the former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders, quote, the border czar, including but not limited to the southern border, the northern border, all maritime and aviation security. I've known Tom for a long time, and there is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Congratulations to Tom. I've no doubt he will do a fantastic and long-awaited for job. As people pointed out, the Project 2025 guy, literally, he wrote a chapter about immigration policy in Project 2025. So that is lie number one, debunked by Donald Trump himself. Donald Trump actually contradicts his own lie, because when you put a Project 2025 major contributor in your administration to implement what Project 2025 proposed, Project 2025, by definition, is part of your administration. It is a lie. Anyone who tells you or told you that Project 2025 was going to have nothing to do with the Trump administration lied right to your face. And I think you have not only every right, I would say that you have a moral imperative to remind them to go find, where they tweeted at you and reply and say, what about this? Looks like you were wrong or lying. So either you were deceived, person who said that Project 2025 would have nothing to do with the second Trump administration, in which case you should admit that I was right and you were wrong, or you lied to me, which, given the dishonesty that repletes MAGA, not exactly surprising. By the way, many of them won't care, but it's probably still worth doing. So then you think to yourself, okay, well, Project 2025, okay, all right, well, that association's there, but hey, listen, hey, at least we won't have to worry. We still don't have to worry about cruel and capricious mass deportation programs, right? That's still just nonsense. Well, I want you to hear, we'll play a couple of clips as a matter of fact. I want you to hear from Tom Homan himself, because this guy is as cold-blooded as it gets. This is from a 60 Minutes interview.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
One more time.
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
What he is proposing, this is a guy, and we'll get to the clip. He was one of the key architects of the Trump administration's draconian, ruthless family separation policy. We'll get to that. But he's saying, hey, if you don't like it, of course there's a way to deport undocumented migrants without separating them from their children, many of whom are presumably American citizens, particularly if they were born on American soil. That is our longstanding constitutional immigration policy. If undocumented immigrants, whether you like it or not, if they have kids here in the United States, those children are American citizens by way of the Constitution. And he's saying, well, if you don't want to separate them, the undocumented non-citizens from their American citizen offspring, just round them up and kick them out together. And he says it so coldly, chillingly. Many people don't care. Many people, I should say, voted for Donald Trump thinking that this would not come to pass. We are one solid step closer in that direction, that trajectory. I want to play another clip in which Tom Homan sparred with AOC during a congressional hearing, just so, again, you can get some context for who this man is.
3 different options presented. The third included the option for family separation. This initiative would pursue prosecution of all amenable adults, including those presenting with a family unit. Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy.
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
That's true. If you come here to the United States seeking asylum, you are not breaking the law. By definition, your asylum case has to be heard and adjudicated. Now, if the court deciding your asylum case says, we don't grant you asylum, then you have to leave the country. And then if you don't, then yes, you're breaking the law. But again, I want you to see how cold-blooded and cruel this man is. And to know that he was responsible for some of the most cruelty or some of the greatest excesses of the Trump administration with respect to family separation and the treatment of undocumented immigrants. The Washington Post has a write-up on this. Trump announces former ICE chief Tom Homan will be border czar. And Trump said Homan, former acting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director, will have a role related to the border and deportation of undocumented immigrants. Homan, a former police officer and Border Patrol agent, served the Trump administration as acting ICE director from January 2017 to June 2018. Quote, I think the calling is clear. I got to go back and help, Homan said Monday morning to Fox News. A border czar role does not require Senate confirmation. Homan stepped down from the administration in frustration when the White House failed to move his nomination as ICE director towards Senate confirmation, and he became a Fox News analyst on immigration and border issues. In a second Trump term, Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin, Trump said in his post, admitting that he has no doubt that Homan will do a fantastic and long-awaited for job. Trump recaptured the White House after promising a militarized mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. He said in his victory speech last week, quote, we're going to have to seal up those borders. Homan has enthusiastically backed Trump's call for mass deportations, including during a speech this summer at the RNC, Republican National Convention. Quote, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's released into our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right, because you're going home. Trump has suggested the deportations will first target criminals, which Homan emphasized Monday morning. Quote, I've been clear, and Trump's been clear, public safety threats and national security threats will be the priority because they have to be, Homan said. They pose the most danger to this country. At the same time, Homan said that, quote, worksite operations have to happen as well. The Biden administration ended large-scale immigration arrests at job sites, which Homan said made it easier for employers to hire unauthorized workers, including children. Homan said in an interview on Fox News' Sunday Morning Futures that military troops would not be used to round up and arrest undocumented immigrants. ICE, he said, would work to carry out Trump's plans in a humane manner that will be necessary and well-targeted planned operation. Of course, again, that contradicts things that have been said earlier about how the military would be deployed. So it's a choose-your-own adventure here. But I would also say, to the extent that Tom Homan says this is going to be humane, consider his past. So, in Trump's first term, he fell far short of his pledge to deport millions of immigrants as his administration faced resource constraints, legal challenges, and a public outcry over tactics, including the separation of migrant children from their parents. Trump is expected to bring back many of the same officials who attempted to carry out those policies during his first term. Homan was a key architect of the zero-tolerance policy that separated thousands of children from their parents. At ICE, Homan was well known for an intense devotion to the job, frequently pushing back against allegations that agents acted too aggressively. In the past, Homan praised Trump for, quote, taking the shackles off ICE agents and allowing them to make a broader range of immigration arrests into the U.S. interior. So, this is who Donald Trump, I should also say, again, just a reminder, Homan contributed to Project 2025, Heritage's policy and personnel blueprint for a second Trump term that became a top issue in the presidential race. Trump sought to distance himself from Project 2025 as Democrats persistently criticized him for it. I have no idea who's behind it. Again, total lie. The bottom line is this, folks. Trump said Project 2025 is something he knew nothing about and would have no association with the second Trump term. He objectively lied about that. That is not true because Tom Homan is a major Project 2025 contributor. Then in terms of mass deportations and cruelty against undocumented immigrants, this is not a reassuring decision by Donald Trump, given that Tom Homan is profoundly unapologetically cruel, was responsible for a lot of the profoundly unapologetic cruelties of the first Trump administration, and is now given a much, much broader and much more powerful remit with no Senate oversight. And by the way, the Senate's going to be controlled by Republicans, so they're probably not going to give him oversight in the first place. This is a recipe for disaster. And we're just a few days past his election. We're not even at inauguration yet. He's not the president yet. So to those of you who are saying, you don't have to worry about it, just chill out, all the evidence says to the contrary. A bunch of lies and a bunch of cruelty already signaled by these decisions. Food for thought. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.